Good morning, class. This is Mr. Walker here, trying to explain some parts of our notebook for you before we jump into class today. So, today we are going to be talking about the identifying parts section of your notebook. This is the yellow section here. I'm going to be going through an example here and an example on the following page. So, make sure that you're paying attention so that we are able to make you understand this. So, on this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so you can see we are going to be identifying parts of an expression. So these are the three parts that we are going to be identifying: the terms, coefficients, and our constants. So let's take a look at one of our examples here. We're going to be looking at this top one here and following the instructions that they give us. So we're going to be looking at the terms of this expression, and they are all the things that are being added or subtracted. Anytime I see those, I want you to make a underline on those. So we're going to go to right here. This is the line tool. We're going to click that. Then we are going to underline each term that is inside of this expression. So I have a term here, a term here, a term here, and then finally a last term right there. Okay, so I got 4 terms. Now I go to the next part of this. So I want you to now identify the coefficients. So if a term has a variable, the number in front of the variable is the coefficient. We are going to draw an arrow to each of these coefficients. And in the case where there's one that's not written, we're going to actually write in a 1. There's 2 ways you could do this. You can write it with the scribble tool if you need to, but you can also always open up a text box and write it in that way. So let's take a look. So first, we're going to pull up the arrow tool on here. So you're going to go to the line tool. We're going to go to select line and then go to arrow. So line, select arrow. We're now going to point that arrow towards any of our coefficients we see here. So I see there's a coefficient right here with x squared. That's 2. We also see a coefficient over here with x being 5. Now, over here in front of the x to the third, there is a coefficient, but there's not one explicitly written in there, which means that we're going to write that one in. Always know when you don't see a number in front of your variable, if you don't visibly see a coefficient, that there's a implied 1 there. So we put a 1 right there, and that is our answer for that part. So we got 2 things identified. We got our terms identified. Our coefficients are also identified. So let's take a look at our last part. If a term has no variables, it's a constant. So the constants are going to be the things that we are going to underline twice. So we're going to go back to our line tool. I'm just going to make it back into a line. And then we're going to head back over to our example here. I see that everything here has a variable except for the 4. So what that means is I'm just going to add a second underline underneath 4. So 4 is our constant. All 4 of these are terms, and then these 3 all have coefficients to all of them. And now we're finished. So you guys are going to do that same exact thing to this example here, as well as this example here. Now, on the second page, I'm going to be giving you different expressions, and you're going to have to identify questions that deal with that expression. So I believe I should have text box already written in for all you guys. So you just have to double click in that box so you can answer. So we'll go through one quickly. We got this expression here. And actually, I'm running out of time on this. But for the sake of this, it says, what are the 3 terms in this? So for the 3 terms, you got 4x, 2y, and 3. And then for the other ones, you know the variable terms. Those are the ones with variables. And the constants are the ones with no variables. Good luck. See you in class.